and we'll just bullshit for the first little bit, and then we'll get into it. But have we ever met? Are you from the Fair Life? Like,
I am from the fair life. I don't know that we've officially met or anything.
okay.
Which fair do you go to? What fair?
um, I Colorado, Arizona. I did do Maryland for a few years back in the day,
Hmm.
but I'm sure we have like common friends and stuff like that. Just
Yeah.
But yeah, what I'd like to do uh, for these, I usually just like have whoever I'm interviewing do most of the talking. I'll jump in and like ask probing questions if I need to. But if you just want to tell me like your experience through this whole coronavirus shit, like just like yeah, just the things that you found are have been affecting you, the things that you find are like important, like some insight if you have any into like what this means, like what it could mean for the future.
Of humanity in general.
Yeah. so so like work, socializing, and then we'll talk about like working out and depression at the end.
Cool.
Cool. So yeah, whenever you're ready to go, I am here.
Well, yeah, work is a tricky thing. Ostensibly, I mean, I have an Associates of English, a Bachelor's of Mechanical Engineering with like 6 emphases. I've got 5 years of experience as a project engineer and project coordinator. So I have, a body of skills that are supposedly really good, but I have kept having a lot of bad luck and wound up supporting myself best in recent years working as basically an art teacher with Arlington County in Maryland, in Virginia, and teaching wood shop as well as running an independent, sole proprietorship, custom furniture and wood products business,
Okay.
which is just kind of a funny place to wind up. Um, Over summers, I work for my friend Kat, who runs the Dry Bones booth at Maryland Renaissance Festival.
Oh, I love Cat.
And
That's probably where we met. Yeah.
yeah,
I
Kat's
I was
the
out
best.
there. Were you working there this last season?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my wife Stephanie came down because we were in town for like a weekend. That's okay.
Mm.
I was like, I know this guy's face. All right, sweet.
That's
Sorry.
the thing. It's like once you see like a million people, you're just like, God dang it, how do I know them?
Especially seeing someone like in costume and out of costume. Like, wait a minute, I think I recognize that might be one of the superheroes that I saw. Like,
I'll put like a golden crown on or something and like my vest with the bells, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's that guy. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Continue.
Not at all. Not at all. So I discovered, even before while I was working like a high powered, successful 9 to 5 kind of job, that it wasn't working for me. So I was already moving towards a more self-sufficient, lot of gig-based work. Um, and, working for the county was really helpful. Pays great. I got, part-time hours so I could still do all of my other stuff and make the difference. But the work just vanished. At first, I was hopeful that, I could at least go in and maintain the machines for a couple of weeks, get everything kind of packed away, but they just shut all the facilities down immediately. And yeah, I was hoping to transition to more full-time running of my own business, which was kind of diving into the deep end here. It had to do that to survive. So, yeah, I started. I was I was in the middle of a move as well, which I only finished this last week,
Yeah.
um, because I couldn't hire movers. So I have been doing everything one carload at a time for 3 weeks when I could, because I'm having to work and do other projects at the same time. So it's a case of like work until I can ship something out, get another commission in, take a break, go move some more stuff, unpack so that I can still work around my new shop and then get back to work. So um, it's been a big disruption. But the amazing thing is a lot of people, one, you've got more conscious decisions to help people. Tons of friends in all of my communities are looking around and saying we need to help our artist friends. And
Yeah.
so I've gotten an uptick in commissions right now just from people I know. we have how we're many friends on our Facebook feeds. And that's the primary advertisement for people who are not going with a website or doing it a lot on Instagram. And I've got 20 commissions lined up right now, which is amazing. I had 5 cutting board orders come in last week alone. I've got a table I'm about to kick off this week, as well as a bunch of kitchen knives in the works. And I'm about to do a raffle for this wonderful art collaboration with my tattoo artist, who I've also been spreading the word to try and help out.
Yeah.
And so watching the shape of business now is super fascinating.
Yeah, there's a really big like interconnectedness that it's just something that always has been there, but it's never something we necessarily needed to utilize until very recently. But it's such like a powerful thing to see people supporting each other just in such a crazy amount. Those of us who can like afford to pay artists are like, well, they need us now. Like, this is the time.
It's more serious. Before it's like, yeah, when I make a little more, I'll be able to, kick something out. And now everyone's like, no, this is a great time. If I want Austin to keep eating, I better buy some stuff from him.
I'm in the market for a new cutting board, and Austin likes to buy groceries, so let's do something about it.
I had some friends reach out and ask if I could do some floating shelves, and I was like, sure. You're my friends. I'll do it for this, and this will be plenty. And they're like, can I pay you like another $100? I was like, yeah.
If you insist.
I literally was just like, I didn't argue it. That's the other thing I've learned now is two things. Don't push back from people offering money. Just say thanks. Yeah. And the other one is don't compromise on prices, which is something that's really hard for new artists, right? You're like, I don't know if I value it this highly. I feel terrible asking for money. But when people have come up and asked, because people are messaging me and saying, oh, I heard about you from my other friend. How much is this kind of thing? And I think about it. And then I think about what, if it was someone else's work, that's the easiest thing for me is pretend I'm somebody I respect better. And then I give them a number and I just sit here cringing for like 10 minutes because I think it's too high. They check their messages and they're just like, yeah, that's great. Oh my God, that's a little low. And I'm like,
damn.
Fantastic. All right. Next person who asks, it's like $20 more.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And all of my business has been, people I know firsthand. I've maybe had 5 people I don't know in the last 3 weeks ask for commissions. Okay. So this is really an incredible feeling to have people who are looking at my work and have watched it develop, who are getting really excited to support me. And that's great.
Yeah. Is there
my website up this week? So
yeah, I was going to ask, do you have I'll put it in the show notes and stuff, but how can people get a hold of you if they want to commission any projects from you?
Absolutely. Well, I've got an Instagram and a website. The website is all filler right now. It's a couple of gorgeous pages with nothing in them. But it is Austin Travis, but the U is a V because that's trendy. So it's Avston Travis, which is also my Instagram. And I've got a lot of great pieces up there for everybody to see.
Cool.
And I can make anything out of wood. I have an engineering background. I've worked with lasers. I've worked with machines. I've done heavy industrial equipment that weighs 10 million pounds and it's all bolted to the floor. So in addition to having 5 years of engineering design in my belt and teaching it in school. So it's, maybe a little cocky, but I can make anything.
No, you got to sell yourself. That's great. Yeah, like something I've been doing is I've been collecting commercials from people just to throw into my podcast, just because it's what people need to do. Like the more artists talk to each other, the more we're able to spread the word. And you should let me know if you want to record a commercial that I can start putting into my podcast, because that would be dope.
Sure.
Okay. Sure. Cool. Well, let's move into just how what you've been doing during the quarantine. Like aside from work, what's been going on in your life?
Yeah, I'm one of those people who have inexplicably found themselves even busier during quarantine because I've been moving. So I've got a new room. I have a new basement to furnish. Because my roommates bought a house, then I moved in. We've got an arrangement now where I am repairing the renovations because, people flipping houses. So I am doing renovation work for rent, which is a plus, while I'm trying to get all my stuff out of boxes. I've got a couch you can see in the background here. That's a it's like a 170-year-old piece that I'm restoring.
Oh, wow.
Um, next to my actual couch that I hope to sit on one day when I've made enough room to move the stuff off of it and can pack all that away right.
Yeah.
Um, you know, in addition to putting my bed together, getting shelves up, getting a wardrobe built in here. Um, and just working. I have been listening to a lot of audiobooks. I clocked 174 hours last month on Audible.
Dang.
Yeah, because it's just like 8 to 10 hours a day. I'm just going for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Back when I used to deliver pizzas, I would listen to upwards of like, depending on the length of the book, like 3 or 4 books a week, like not a week, but 3 or 4 books a month, like depending on the
Yeah.
length. Like someone told me that it only like you can't say you've read that many books because technically you're listening to them. So I found the formula. It's like for every 4 books you've actually read 3 books, but I think it's baloney. But like you're getting it. Like
If you say I've processed 4 stories,
yeah, exactly.
maybe that's more accurate, but I hope you have much more compassionate friends who aren't going to nitpick you that hard.
Yeah, definitely. And you were saying that you like it's so great to hear because a lot of people you see on the internet just like I'm bored out of my gourd, like I can't handle it, I can't do this quarantine thing. But I'm like you, like the way I'm handling this, like I'm just nonstop staying busy, and
Yeah.
we're moving next week too, so it's just gonna be like, yay.
Good luck. Best of
Yeah,
luck.
but
If I could have hired movers, man,
yeah, I
it would
mean,
have been amazing.
and we're and something I wish I should be doing is doing yoga and staying in shape, which I'm not. I'm just getting fatter and lazier every day. But I hear that's not the case for you.
Not at all. I got really lucky, and like a week or two before all of the shutdown orders came, one of my friends gave me like his Oculus before that he couldn't run it on his laptop, and I've got an overpowered computer that I use sometimes, that I haven't had time for since starting to work for myself. And yeah, so when it's not full of boxes, I've got a space where I play Beat Saber for an embarrassing amount of time.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, it's like 2 a.m. I've been playing Beat Saber for 6 hours. Well, that was one day. That was when I set it up. But I'm hitting like, except for this last week, I've been hitting like 3 to 4 hours of Beat Saber pretty consistently. And I've thrown myself into an exercise routine. Yeah, back when I had a 9 to 5 and a great insurance plan, I could afford to go see a therapist and a psychiatrist and have meds for my depression and everything. But I don't. So just like doing my best to sleep, which totally off the table now. Like while I feel generally good, like there's a lot of just kind of subconscious stress from the pandemic. So my sleep schedule is absolutely disrupted. I'm going to bed at like 3 and 4 most nights. So since I can't like take meds or have a therapist or sleep particularly well, I'm just exercising, and not particularly intensely. I'm doing a lot, but I'm doing it very slowly. I'm watching a movie. So
But you
it's
can't
like
you can't say that Beat Saber isn't intense workouts. Like I've
Beat
played,
Saber is
yeah,
intense.
that
Yeah.
is that
Oh,
is you do 6 hours of cardio. Like yeah, that's nuts.
yeah. Like I grant that. But for the rest of it, it's, body weight exercises. I'll do 200 squats and it's like, oh my God, it takes me like 20 minutes. I'll do like 20 or 30 squats. And then I'll just sit there like, we're going to watch some more Ninja Assassin right here. And just kind of, yep. We'll get the gore. We'll get the violence. It's really exciting. We'll do 30 more. I do core exercises, which I hate, but kind of feel the best. I get the most endorphins off of that, I think.
Yeah,
Back when I was a competitive rock climber, we had a whole intense routine. And then I was doing a bunch of push-ups and I've hurt my wrist.
I see.
So I'm trying to support it, and I'm doing much fewer I'm doing like 50 push-ups instead of 250. And again, slowly over the course of a whole movie, I'm sure this entire workout can be done in like 20 minutes, but I
Yeah.
take 2.5 hours because I'm a grown-up,
Yeah.
allegedly.
Something I used to do is back when I was in shape, quote unquote, I would like do like 20 push-ups every time I died playing Dark Souls.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
sure. Oh my God.
yeah, I did a lot. I did a lot of freaking
I've
push-ups.
yeah, what a game to pick for that one.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just like, all right, I'm going to the store. How long have you been working out? Like a week.
I can't scratch the small of my back anymore.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, sweet. Yeah,
Oh man.
it's really good to hear. Like I love because a lot like I'm collecting a lot of stories, and a lot of them are stressful and sad. But it's very I don't know. It's really good to hear people's stories where things do suck. Like you were saying, like the whole like back of your mind, like the stress about like oh the world's ending. But like to hear good stories, like I don't know. I feel like it's good. I feel like it's inspirational for people. Like everyone's able to relate with each other right now, even though things are kind of unrelatable for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm like I said, I've got 20 commissions lined up. And the hope is that I can get my website finished, get my social media presence built up, and get more advertising done, because I I don't want to take the subconscious terror and bring it too much to the fore so that it paralyzes me. But it's like I only have so many Facebook friends, right? Like if everybody bought something, okay, yeah, I'd be great. But
Yeah.
you know fairs, you know how much traffic you have to get in order to get any sales. So um keep practicing like mindfulness and keeping from despair is one thing, but you've also got to um dip your toe in to some of the stressful things and be proactive and try and grow as a small business person who's like a one-man operation. Got to be doing enough without berating yourself or pushing yourself too far. There's
Yeah.
a weird balance to try and find there.
Yeah, but you already found the balance. It's a violent ninja movie and squats. You got to do both.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And actually, I've watched and read more entertainment, right? Because I'm not teaching, so I don't have to, engage with my students as much. So I'm listening to more audiobooks while I work for myself, and I'm watching more movies while I exercise. So it's like, oh, I'm getting more like up to speed culturally. I don't live under a rock like I used to.
Yeah, it's a good allegory. It's a good metaphor for like everything that's going on right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Before we sign off, is there any like I'll make sure to uh, get your Instagram and your website out there for everybody to see. Is there any? Do you have any parting words from the Coronaverse?
Parting words from the Coronaverse. Oh man. Do what you can whenever you're feeling trepidation over doing something. Give yourself permission to feel afraid. Don't be too proud to be afraid. Figure out exactly what you're afraid of and work to come to terms with that. Sometimes you'll come up with a solution like, hey, maybe I just need to advertise a little more and I'll secure some more income, and that will address my fears of not being able to feed myself or my family. Sometimes it's just, I'm afraid that I'm going to feel bad forever, and you can identify whether that's something actionable. But being compassionate with yourself and allowing yourself to feel without judging the negative emotions that you're having is a great first step of mindfulness and keeping on going and being kind to yourself in that way.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I'll close this out. We'll get on Facebook, and I'll hammer out details with you when this is coming out and all that.
Sounds good. Great
All right.
talking to you, Alexander.
Yeah, no problem. It's nice talking to you too. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna press record again. and just say all the stuff you just said.
Absolutely. One of the other things I'm doing with my time is keeping in touch with as many people as possible. As everybody knows, Zoom is great, and Zoom meetings are replacing a lot of things that we used to do, like my weekly family table thing that I do with friends, but also the podcast recording that I've been doing for a couple of months now. With Legendsmith Productions, which is my friend's deal, and we record folk stories. I've personally been doing some story time reading every week for my friends' kids, getting into longer books now. Like a couple of weeks ago, it was a Texas folk tale called Mr. Death and the Red-Headed Woman. The next week, it was If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. We're moving on to A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but we've recently, with Legendsmith Productions, started doing this a series about supervillains who are switching over to Zoom meetings because of something that happened in that villain universe. And we're being very, very clear and careful that it's not this universe. We're avoiding any real world parallels, but
Yeah.
you know, there was an event where the superheroes infiltrated the grand secret meeting, and so to preserve security and keep the villains from being taken out en masse, they're all now meeting from the privacy of their homes and trying to get used to meeting over Zoom. And it's a hilarious little series.
That is extraordinarily clever, like, and very timely. I really like that. So where can so you're just doing the readings for kids, but where can we find the podcast, and what is it called?
The podcast, I don't think we have. Well, so Legendsmith Productions is the overarching. I guess I don't know. I don't know how people organize businesses, but that's the overarching brand.
Yeah.
We have Anansi Storytime in the traditions of Anansi the Spider, as well as Audio Drama Showcase, and a couple others. But I can provide you a link for Legendsmith Productions, and you can find all of the different things we've been putting out to keep everybody entertained with good video and audio
Okay.
media.
Cool. Is most of it run through the site, or is it like distributed to different platforms like Spotify and all that?
It's on a couple different platforms. We do also have a Patreon for people who want to get advanced notice of everything, and a couple special things like outtakes, and hearing the cast chatter and be ridiculous and foul-mouthed and come up with crazy other ideas that turn into later projects.
Yeah, bloopers are always fun for sure.
They're so amazing. I was like, I don't remember saying that, but I mean, you have it on tape now, so
Yeah.
please don't blackmail me, everybody.
I guess that's forever.
Yeah, exactly. Whew. Whew.
All right. Well, awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely put all this in the show notes, and yeah, thank you very much. I'll splice it. I'll make it sound real good.
Sounds good, man. Thank you for giving me something to do with my evenings.
Yeah, definitely.